जय हिंद, वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग. सो एज ऑल ऑफ यू नो, इनविंसिबल की ओर से प्रोजेक्ट उद्घोष के अंडर में हम कुछ पॉडकास्ट शूट कर रहे हैं, अ सीरीज़ ऑफ पॉडकास्ट शूट कर रहे हैं, एंड वी कॉल इज टॉर्चलाइट. नाउ व्हाट इज़ टॉर्चलाइट? तो हमारे इधर उधर में भी काफ़ी ऐसे इश्यूज़ हैं, हमारे इधर उधर में काफ़ी सारे ऐसे टॉपिक्स हैं जिसके ऊपर हमें फोकस करके उसको हाईलाइट करना बहुत ही ज़रूरी है, ताकि ये यंग पीपल की नॉलेज में आए और ये उनके लिए बेनिफिशियल रहे. So today we have Shri Shailendra Mishra ji sir. So sir is Zonal Director for Narcotics NCB से sir हैं, and today we are going to talk about the no drugs campaign. So every year Invincible takes up a new theme to address young people. Initially it was Let the Coral Breathe, then we worked on the Let the Third Pole Breathe. Last year we are working on Save Soil theme, and this year we have decided to contribute or dedicate one dedicated year for No Drugs campaign. So sir, welcome to Invincible, welcome to Ghosh, and thanks for coming here sir. My first question sir, मेरे दिमाग में continuously एक चीज़ यही आती थी कि common youngster की जब हम बात करें, who is basically a collegian और अ स्टूडेंट हु इज़ गोइंग टू स्कूल्स. नाउ डेज कुछ केसेस ऐसे भी हैं जहाँ पर स्कूल्स भी कुछ एक्सपोजर ड्रग्स का वहाँ पर भी हो रहा है. सो व्हाट आर द कॉमन ड्रग्स दैट ऑल दिस पीपल आर कंज्यूमिंग?
See, when we talk about, shall I go in Hindi or English?
हिंदी इंग्लिश हमने ऐसा
जब हम आमतौर से क्या ड्रग्स का यूज़ हो रहा है स्कूल्स एंड कॉलेजेस, या कहेंगे कि यंगस्टर लेवल पे, सो देयर इज़ अ सॉर्ट ऑफ लैडर विच इज़ बीइंग फॉलोड. सो इनिशियली मोस्ट कॉमन ड्रग जो इनिशियल स्टेज में हमने देखा है यूथ के पास जो जाता है, दैट इज़ मोस्टली marijuana, which is commonly available. It is cheap also, and you will find it at many places. You can someone you are knowing or someone some peddler is more roaming around schools and everything. तो उनके हाथ से आपको ये ड्रग पहली बार जो है मिलता है. उसके डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर द ग्रुप दैट यू आर फॉलोइंग और द टेंजेंट यू वांट टू फॉलो, then comes the stage of party drugs.
Okay.
So once this is mostly popular with teenagers who are out of schools, finding their freedom for the first time, and थोड़ा सा money आता है उनके पास. So उस केस में they go for these party drugs which can be which are mostly chemical based.
Okay.
So LSD sort of thing, some paper based drugs or something. So उस तरीके के ecstasy वगैरह जैसे नाम आपने सुना होगा. So and nowadays MDMA nowadays this mephedrone is picking up.
Okay.
So mephedrone is MDMA and इसका combination है. So वहाँ पे ये चीज़ें आ रही हैं. Now the problem with these MDA, ecstasy and LSD sort of drugs is that they are very addictive.
Okay.
They have been designed for these purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So once you fall into the trap of these drugs, the problem is that you are bound to get addicted until unless you take few steps back at the very early stage of your this addiction.
Teenage time.
Yeah, teenage times.
Mm-hmm. So these drugs आपने जो बताया, जो पार्टी ड्रग्स जिसको हम कंसिडर करते हैं, are these drugs easily available for this teenage
No.
group?
I cannot, I won't say that it is easily available or not, but yes, it is available. It can be made available, and after this Corona period, we have found a very different level of supply chain, which is through the internet-based supply, and we have many times found these even the delivery people who are supplying food to our homes.
Okay.
They are also getting involved into all these things. They are being used as a vendor, as a carrier for supplying these drugs to various customers. So you go through the dark net, you place a supply through bitcoins, and then a drug is delivered at your own house through these vendors or some other mechanism. So this is one of the cases that we are being noted, which is picking up like anything.
So in rural area, one thing that I have personally observed is that कि बहुत सारे लोगों को खैनी वगैरह का एडिक्शन रहता है, but to door with that specific addiction is actually supari.
Yeah.
है ना? They start with supari and then they enter to खैनी and so then they are addicted for the lifetime. So can we quote in this similar fashion कि जो marijuana के लिए जो लोग एडिक्ट होते हैं they actually go through smoking?
See, I've already used the word ladder.
Yes.
So yes, there is a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Because for falling into any addiction, any sort of addiction,
Hmm.
even tea can be taken as an addiction. So for any sort of addiction, first you will have to fall into that thing.
Okay.
So people, yes, start with something like tobacco, supadi, tobacco. Then there is something of they need higher kick at a certain point of time. So Zafrani and other surti products they go for. Then pan masalas are there, and then they graduate into the world of drug. Prior to drugs, on many occasions we have found that youngsters and teenagers were falling into the trap of liquor. Thereafter, graduating further, they fall into the traps of drug. Because liquor is mostly part of the parties. Beer and liquor, mostly in initial days में आप जो भी पार्टी करते हैं उसमें ये चीज़ें कॉमन फैक्टर बनती हैं. सो गोइंग अ स्टेप फर्दर, जब आप इससे भी बोर होना शुरू हो जाते हैं एंड यू आर टू मच इनटू पार्टिंग एंड एवरीथिंग, गोइंग फॉर इजी लाइफ एंड एवरीथिंग, so you fall into this trap and thereafter you venture onto the track of drugs. So marijuana, then any other hard thing, mostly, and ending up with all the chemical based drugs which are totally addictive.
Okay.
Totally addictive.
So थोड़ा ये समझना था कि like when a young child who is like aged between 13 to 18, we call this teenage time. So इस टाइम में जो कोई एडिक्टेड होता है खास तौर से marijuana के साथ, तो what are the long term like disadvantages or side effects or impacts of these specific things? Like some could be like health related, some could be like social impacts. So can you please briefly tell how this drug addiction is actually ruining our youth? है ना?
First of all, I would like to warn that we must not think that drug addiction starts at certain level, at the age of 13, 12 or whatever you want to call. Drug addiction or addiction of any sort can start at any age. We have found children of 8 and 9 years also falling into certain kind of traps. What are these traps? These are like simple inhalers that you keep at your home. Your nail polish remover, your cough syrups that you keep at your home. You don't know how they are being used. You might find many small children just lurking around the petrol tanks of vehicles, just smelling that thing. So these all things, if taken on the longer term, will move the person towards the addiction of something, addiction of A, B or C. So being a parent, we should remain careful regarding all these activities. We must interact with the children. We must silently watch also the activities of our child when he is at home, when he is away from home, when he comes back. Then you need to be very careful. Moving back to that point, that question was how it is going.
What are the impacts?
Impact and longer term effects. So effects we categorize in certain terms. First of all is effect on the individual, then effect on the family, then effect on the society, then effect on the medical health, and effect on the general security scenario of the nation.
Okay.
So individual, there is time and again I repeat that on individual, since he is the immediate receiver, he is the person who is going to suffer for all his life. If he falls into the trap of drug at very early stage. So what happens, early stage is also the building block of the life.
Yes.
Like at the age of 15, when you should build your mental faculties for various subjects, so that you can just get into the pace of the life. At that point of time, if you are not going to build those blocks, it is certainly going to help you. Job and everything, whichever you are going to find, is going to be available up to a certain stage, and then you will have to compete with the peers who will certainly be much ahead than you. So you will be losing as an individual on this aspect. Thereafter comes the family. So since there is one loser in the family, he will always remain a burden. He himself will be lacking confidence in himself. Job and everything is not the final thing, but yes, he won't be able to get back his confidence sooner in the life. So family, which is 24 hours being the immediate members, taking care of him, looking after him, they will also come under pressure. So this family, how it comes under pressure? Once you have a drug addict in your family, so society starts to restrain themselves. They will stop their children, they will ask their children not to venture into your house, not to speak to your ward, not to speak or get in touch with your family also. This is how the society reacts. So problem of one is never considered to be a problem of society. It is always considered to be a problem of one. So going through that phase, family also suffers. Now society I have already touched. So once such kind of people, one or two, society can deal with. But if numbers are more than a desired level, so society also has to face lot many issues with such drug addicts. We keep on receiving various different letters, various calls for people, from the people who are complaining regarding the drug addiction in their society. Society means apartment societies and localities. What is that? They are fearful that this addiction or this anomaly which is they are looking at may creep into their ward also, their house also. So they are very much concerned about it. So to overall scenario, the security scenario that the society is having naturally is not of top level. So they also feel insecure. Then comes the health services. Health services were never designed for helping out a drug addict.
Okay.
We are dedicating 4 to 5%, 10% of efforts towards these. But what is it? Health services were mostly
you are
designed.
talking about the rehabilitation?
Yeah. Health services were mostly designed to help you under the real problems of health. Health issues related to, say, cancer. You need real health backup under those scenarios. TBs we have eradicated. Polio we have eradicated. So all the health services which are designed or which are intended, it's a noble profession. So these activities are intended for helping the society for the good cause.
Yeah.
Drug addiction or de-addiction is certainly not a good cause.
It's kind of extra burden.
Yeah, it's an extra burden because you are taking that burden. You are moving towards that.
True.
None of the sickness comes to you on your call, or you cannot just go and grab it. But addiction, you can grab it. You grab it, in fact. It never comes to you. You go to them. You go to the addiction and then you fall back. So this 10 or 15% of medical requirement which could have been pushed towards some other efforts is being dedicated for de-addiction. So it's an additional burden. Numbers of doctor, number of expertise, number of expert people that we need, number of samazdar people that we need to understand this situation is not that much forthcoming. So we have these issues. Then comes the crime scenario, the last scenario. Ultimately, any problem will end up in a criminal or your overall legal situation. So legal situation ultimately gets affected. Because for drug addiction, you need to have deep pockets. If you do not have deep pockets, but you have fallen into the drug trap, what will you do?
Yeah, you will find some another option to that.
Only option is to pull more people in towards you. So what do these drug peddlers do? They make one person addict, and then in the name of catering to his demands, they ask him to sell that drug to their own known people. Own friends,
getting him some
certain. So that is how person first time falls into the trap. What we have found that it is mostly one of the near ones, one of the dear ones, one of his friend circles who offered the drug to a person. He was the first person whom, say, if my friend offers me, so my reliance or my reliability or my faith towards that person is very high. So once he offers me something, so there is a possibility that I may not say no, and there is a possibility that my guard is always lowered, and then I become a trapped person into his allurement. What is he doing? He is doing a work of a peddler. He has made me an addict. Now say after 10 days, 15 days, I will be doing the same thing to my near and dear ones. So this is how this chain works. So criminal society, then police comes into role. You have to find money. You have, if you don't have money, either you have to become a peddler or you will become a thief. So if there are thefts and everything, so police comes under the role. They come under the pressure. If there was no addiction, then there should not have been any crime also. So this is the situation. So it is a trickle down effect. This happens like it's a dominoes effect.
And another ways, it is never ending. Like if you are having some dominoes today, then next day, yes.
It is a dominoes effect. You start thing, it becomes a dominoes effect. One thing gives effect to the other, and thereafter, and it is a never ending process.
Got it.
Because this chain, this marketing chain, it always broadens. Police or law enforcement agencies can act only towards those issues which are brought to their notice. They cannot find every addict. So every addict is a problem, will become a problem. He is a peddler, he will become a peddler. He may spread this menace at much faster rates. So that is the issue. So every aspect of your life is affected through a single drug addict.
So when like as an organization, what and as अगर गवर्नमेंट साइड से पहले हम बात करें, सो गवर्नमेंट इस सारी चीज़ों को प्रिवेंट करने के लिए मतलब क्या क्या स्टेप्स लेती है? व्हाट आर लाइक मेजर्स, द बेसिक फंडामेंटल मेजर्स कि जो हम सोचते हैं एंड वी आर एक्चुअली एक्टिंग ऑन दैट टू प्रिवेंट दिस काइंड ऑफ स्प्रेड ऑफ ड्रग्स?
सी गवर्नमेंट, अगर हम एफर्ट्स की बात करते हैं, सो गवर्नमेंट का पहला एफर्ट तो यही है कि हम इन चीज़ों को आने ही न दें. सो गवर्नमेंट एक्ट्स ऑन 3-pronged स्ट्रैटेजी. फर्स्ट इज कि हम आने ही नहीं देंगे. दैट इज कॉल्ड सप्लाई रिडक्शन. जहाँ पे ये जितनी भी लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट एजेंसीज हैं, जो भी एजेंसीज काम कर रही हैं, पुलिस है, DRI है, कस्टम्स है, NCB is the nodal agency for all the NDPS related narcotics, drugs and psychotropic substances act का जो भी है, उसके लिए नोडल एजेंसी NCB है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इज कि सप्लाई रिडक्शन, और सप्लाई होने ही नहीं देंगे, सप्लाई में कमी करेंगे. ऑलराइट, बट सप्लाई जिस तरह से चल रही है, जो भी हमारे एफर्ट्स हैं, उसके बियॉन्ड हम जाते हैं कि सप्लाई हो क्यों रही है, बिकॉज देयर इज अ डिमांड. सो वी गो फॉर अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम्स, we go for training, we go for awareness, we go for larger information to the society, so that they become aware of the issues which are related with the drugs. It is not a one-time affair. It is not something which is going to affect you only today. It is going to affect you tomorrow. So it has been known कि अगर आप सही समय पे awareness ला देते हैं, तो शायद उस मुसीबत से आप बच जाते हैं. हम अपने छोटे बच्चों का अगर हम एक ग्रोथ हिस्ट्री देखते हैं, तो देयर आर मैनी चिल्ड्रेन हु टेंड टू इंसर्ट देयर फिंगर्स इनटू टी और फायर और समथिंग, बट व्हाट नॉलेजेबल पेरेंट्स क्या करते हैं, वो सिंपली बच्चे को केयरफुली उसकी उंगली पकड़ते हैं और उसको कप से टच करा देते हैं. सो व्हाट इज दैट? दैट इज अवेयरनेस. उसके बाद आप देखेंगे वो बच्चा कप के पास या फायर के पास कभी नहीं जाएगा. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड अवेयरनेस. जब छोटा सा बच्चा उस नॉलेज को वो इतनी आसानी से गेन कर लेता है,
एक्सपीरियंशियल काइंड ऑफ लर्निंग.
सो इफ थिंग्स आर प्रेजेंटेड एंड प्रोजेक्टेड राइटली, तो ये माना जाता है कि इवन ग्रोन अप माइंड्स विल ग्रैब दैट थिंग. सो वी हैव फाउंड वेरी नाइस टेकर्स. ये वो चीजें हैं जो कि जिसका इफेक्ट पता नहीं चलता है.
गुड.
बिकॉज ड्रग एडिक्ट कितने बने, हम उसका तो डाटा मेंटेन कर सकते हैं, बट ड्रग कितने लोगों ने अवेयरनेस को देख के और ड्रग एडिक्शन से दूर चले गए, उसका डाटा मेंटेन नहीं हो सकता. बट सर्टेनली these things help. So second is demand reduction, supply reduction, demand reduction. The third is harm reduction. Harm reduction is the process कि जब someone has already fallen into the trap, then what to do? So here comes the society, here comes the health sector, जो कि addicts जितने होते हैं उनको de-addiction की तरफ मूव कराते हैं. So these are 3-pronged strategies. We call it supply reduction, demand reduction, and harm reduction.
Okay.
So 3 strategies are there, which is being pushed by the government of India, and various ministries and departments are pushing all these strategies. Certainly, बहुत सी चीज़ें होती हैं जो मार्केटिंग जिनकी हो जाती है. देयर आर सर्टेन एफर्ट्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट विच आर नॉट दैट वेल मार्केटेड,
Okay.
but government is doing a lot of work for de-addiction and eradicating this menace from the society.
Okay.
We as law enforcement agencies know about the efforts of the government, that the present government also is doing
That is
human job.
being done under the banner of NCB only, or there another?
Yeah, nodal
organizations
agency. See, nodal agency for harm reduction. For that, nodal agencies NCB and Ministry of Social Justice and
Social
Empowerment. Yes, child care and so many. So there are various health ministries are involved in these things. So every aspect is being looked after by multiple organizations,
Right.
mostly by those who are directly involved in the caretaking. So third, harm reduction is being taken care of by the associated ministries. Demand reduction, supply reduction is being looked after by mostly by NCB,
Right.
NCB and other law enforcement agencies.
Sir, in this fight against this like drug abuse, what could be the role of organizations like Invincible, like our organization, and other non-government organizations? What are the like direct requirements that as a nodal agency you will require from such organizations?
See, again, I will say that I will always maintain, in fact, that whatever scourge, if we take it as a scourge, which is actually it is, so only depending upon the government agencies or questioning the government agencies
Will not bring any.
will not bring any positive change in the society unless, because what happens, any government agency functions upon the feedback. So who is going to give that feedback? Either agency has to go and check for the feedback, or the society can come forward and provide that feedback. So if there is a feedback, society has to be there. So if society is there, there has to be certain mediums wherein the role of NGOs such as Invincible, your organization, and other similar organizations comes into play. Because government agencies have limitations. Their interaction level is also very different. People do not come very, I have seen that people become fearful while approaching to various offices, while coming to NCB offices. So we need to have that via medium, that comfort level. So society becomes, NGOs become the carrier of that information,
Okay.
which is received from the society by the NGO, and NGO becomes the carrier of that information for the agencies. So here the role is of too much importance, and feed from the point of feedback, from the point of the actual ground
Awareness.
situations. Yeah, like I came to know that you were doing just some survey regarding this thing, and we were just discussing regarding those survey and everything. So that is one such effort which, if done in right perspective and in right direction, that can provide much deeper information to the law enforcement agencies, and government may take several corrective measures at the right time. So that is one of the roles which can be done by the NGOs and society. So that feedback channel is very important.
Right. So nowadays we are working on a series of awareness programs to various schools and colleges. When I was there in college, I personally felt that this drug-related awareness should be given to the students of third year of engineering or fourth year of engineering, because it was not that much prevalent among young people. Then it become like even the first students are getting victim of that. Now आपने वो भी बताया कि like child aged between 8 to 10 is also getting into this. So according to you, what should be the age group that such organization should focus on at this time period? Like it varies. I understand that sometimes in some specific localities it is in the collegians only. Mega cities like in Ahmedabad, अभी यहाँ पर ऐसा लग रहा है कि like we should go for like higher secondary schools also, like who are in the 11th and 12th standard, we should sensitize them also before they get into this thing. So what is the correct age group that should be focused on?
I will say that there is no particular age for providing education or knowledge for anything.
Okay.
But yes, there has to be some age where a child is going to understand what is being taught. So certainly, for like this year, government is pushing towards the message of awareness for even class 8th students.
Okay.
The students who are in class 8th, that means 10 to 12 years of age, 13 years of age, children of 13 years. So they are telling that also inform it to them. Class 8th, class 6th, class 7th. Matlab, there is no bar. Because the general appreciation of today's child is much higher than my times.
Yes.
In those times, the point that we were unable to understand, now the child has much better grasping power. So we need as a educator, as a school facilitator, we need to self-assess that ability of the child, and whenever we find that this is the right time, we can start that education. So there is no bar regarding, but certainly you cannot teach quantum physics to a class 5 student.
Yes.
So that grabbing level, but yes, from 6th or 7th onwards, we can just start giving some basic information, and thereafter it may gradually increase as per the appreciation level.
Okay.
So it should not be taken as a proper curricular activity. 2 awareness programs during a year, say on 6 monthly basis or quarterly basis, will do much better effect than placing something into the curriculum.
So it is like initially giving, like sensitizing them related to
yes.
Some specific things,
Yeah.
and after 6 months, one another dose of kind of the same thing.
What I say, if you start doing these sensitization for class 5th or 6th or 7th students, depending upon their age and their grasping power, if you give the right message, that they are the best people to receive that message.
Yeah.
Because as you grow, your mind becomes rigid. You have your own faith, you have your own thought process and everything. So before that mind becomes rigid, if you say something, if you tell something, the good factors, the bad factors, so it is going to be much. And we have also found that the people who have fallen into the deepest traps of drug addiction were mostly those people who started very early.
Okay.
Okay. So those were the people who could not find it, because they were not having that fighting mechanism generated into their body. They were always surrendering to their urges. So if we provide this input of surrender or the dangers of the surrender to a student who is in, say, 7th, 8th or something like that, not as a curriculum. I always maintain it should not be taken as a curriculum, but as awareness. So once the school is starting, go for 1 session, 2 session of drug awareness. Then after say 3 months, again for a revision session. Then after 3 months, revision session. So 3 or 5 sittings in a year can give him a form of knowledge which he'll be able to organize.
Okay.
And through these sessions, you can interact also. You can create some certain form of clubs, small student clubs or something, where they can themselves provide a feedback or something to the principal or the school management.
Okay.
So that will be a much better strategy regarding this.
Okay. So as far as social media is concerned, it is time of like show off. Now every teenager, every young adult is actually looking better than the other people. Like Instagram and all these things is actually running in that direction. And maybe that is one of the reasons कि जो youngster है वो easily party drugs में involve हो जाते हैं.
Yes.
क्योंकि वो शो ऑफ का और वो ही रेस ड्रग रेस का ही एक पार्ट बन जाता है. सो डेफिनेटली आपने जो बताया कि देयर आर सम जो भी इसके इम्पैक्ट्स और अफेक्ट्स हैं, फैमिली के ऊपर अफेक्ट हैं, देन हेल्थ के ऊपर एक डायरेक्ट ही बहुत ही मेजर अफेक्ट है. आप थोड़ा उस पर भी हाईलाइट करेंगे कि पार्टी ड्रग्स जो हैं उससे जो फाइनेंशियल इम्पैक्ट है वो कितना होता है. लाइक व्हाट आर दी लाइक टेंजेंट्स ऑफ दैट स्पेसिफिक इंक्लिनेशन.
शायद मैंने इस पॉइंट को थोड़ा सा टच किया भी था बीच में.
या
अभी तक जितने भी ड्रग्स मैंने देखे हैं, जितनी भी उनकी प्राइसिंग मैकेनिज्म देखा है, आई डोंट थिंक कि कोई भी एक नॉर्मल मिडिल क्लास सोसाइटी का कोई भी व्यक्ति ड्रग ट्रैप को बहुत ज़्यादा दिन तक विदाउट प्रॉब्लम्स फेस कर सकता है या डील कर सकता है. सो एक स्मॉल, जैसे हम किसी गांजे की बात करते हैं, द मोस्ट कॉमनली अवेलेबल ड्रग, सबसे सस्ते ड्रग्स में आता है, तो उसकी भी एक पुड़िया अगर आप 3 ग्राम या 5 ग्राम की लेते हैं तो वो भी आपको 100 से 300 रुपए के बीच में मार्केट में मिलती है.
Okay.
Now imagine what is addiction. It is not a weekly affair.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a monthly affair. What is it? It is a daily affair.
Mm-hmm.
So daily basis पे if a person is falling into this trap, 300 रुपये रोज खर्च कर रहा है, so आप उस क्वांटम को इमेजिन करिए, 9,000 rupees for a student or for a person who has just gone into the job. 9,000 rupees अगर वो अपनी सैलरी में से सिर्फ इस शौक के लिए निकाल रहा है, सो क्या क्या होने वाला है उसका? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो वो अपनी फैमिली को सपोर्ट नहीं देने वाला है. अगर वो खुद डिपेंडेंट है तो वो पैसा कहीं से निकालने वाला है. और इसके अलावा उसकी जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है, इफ़ ही इज सर्विंग, इफ़ ही इज अ स्टूडेंट, उसकी जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है, जो उसका नेक्स्ट डे का वर्क है, उसका क्या होने वाला है? सो कॉस्ट शुड बी लुक्ड फ्रॉम मल्टीपल एंगल्स, नॉट ओनली फ्रॉम फाइनेंशियल एंगल्स. Cost should be looked from the angle of nation's development also.
Yeah.
Because these are the building blocks. If 5 or 10% of the society gets into drug addiction, if you go through the positive side, कि अगर वो ठीक रहते तो वो कितना contribute कर सकते थे society को, so वो cost जब आप calculate करेंगे तो you will find immense loss. What will be their status as a parent in future? What will be their status as a bread giver? उन कॉस्ट को आप लेना शुरू करिए. What will be their status as an idol for their coming generations?
True.
Will they be able to guide someone on the right path with conviction once they themselves have failed themselves? So these are the cost. I never encourage looking at the financial cost only, because finances are very trivial thing.
Right.
Ultimately, you have to look towards your life. Life is long perspective. It is not a event of one day or 2 day or a month or a year. It is going to
happen on a routine basis, and
yes.
the impact
Your
is rising
parents,
continuously.
yes, your parents won't be here. Your support system won't be here, but you will be here. So you have to understand this issue from those perspectives. It is not like that it is I want to say कि मैं मन का राजा हूँ, मैं जो कर सकता हूँ, या मैं मन की रानी हूँ जो कर सकती हूँ. No, it can't happen in this scenario. अगर आप करेंगे आज की डेट में, निश्चित मानिए आपका कल जो है सही नहीं है, सही नहीं रहेगा.
So in the last, I have a question. Actually, it's a dual question. Like 26th June is celebrated as World Drug Day to like bring awareness and do all these things. तो एक तो मुझे ये जानना था कि what are the activities that NCB is going to do to like mark this day, and secondly, I also want to know that what are the UN agencies are doing in the state of Gujarat to like spread awareness about these things. Is there any significant program that UN agencies are running with help of other organizations or government?
I cannot comment about the activities of the UN agencies or whatever agencies, whatever activities they are indulging in, because certainly we are not in the picture, we are not into that picture.
Okay.
But yes, I can comment about the activities of various different drug law enforcement agencies,
Okay.
like police, the other government agencies and NCB.
Mhm.
So we are celebrating a fortnight of drug awareness starting from 12th of June to 26th, culminating on 26th of June. And during this period, we have launched, as NCB has launched around 300 autos with branding of "Say No to Drugs and Yes to Life."
Yes.
So,
I just noticed one today.
Yeah, you might have noticed. So that is one noble initiative where we want to make people aware. The commoner, I can arrange a program for a school-going student, for a university student, but how do we intimate or inform the commoner who is roaming on the ground, who is not able to attend any seminar or anything? So this I found a very novel idea. Rather than going for hoardings or something, we got this idea of mobile awareness program. So this is one of the aspects which we launched on 12th itself. Thereafter, we are doing continuous awareness program on railway stations, airport, malls, and school sensitization, student sensitization, awareness programs. Recently, I did a program for this homeopathy college, Ahmedabad Parul University campus, and thereafter we are in the coming week we are going for a drug disposal. Like a lot of drugs is going to be disposed, which we seized during the year. Thereafter, there is another students program for students at Parul University, Vadodara, on 24th, I believe, which is going to be connected through web link and live also. So more than 40,000 students and other communities going to benefit by that. Then there is one international seminar which is being organized by Rashtriya Raksha University on 26th.
Okay.
On 25th, we are having a bike rally at the national level.
Mm-hmm.
So for Gujarat chapter, there is a, then I believe Invincible is also going to have a cycle rally being planned for 26th. Jail awareness, so many things. So activities are there are many activities that are going, and this is only the activity being taken care of by NCB.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many other agencies, like police is doing various activities, other agencies are also there. So this complete 15 days is being celebrated as some good cause.
True.
We need the fulfillment of this good cause.
Yes.
So this is the right phase, right chapter that we want to write in golden ink, so that things, because there is a vision being given that 2047 India should be drug free.
Yeah.
So we all are trying to work
Mm-hmm.
with our best zeal towards that goal. And awareness is one tool which can help in many better ways than any other tool. So
True.
awareness is the most important thing. अगर आप डिमांड नहीं बनाएंगे, सप्लाई नहीं होगी. आप सप्लाई नहीं बनाएंगे, एजेंसीज की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी. There won't be crime, there won't be any burden on police, there won't be any burden on
like even medical
health sector,
services.
and those can be better utilized for other
development works.
And other issues. So that is one thing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming and enlightening all these things, and we hope that next 1 year we'll be receiving continuous support from the NCB and all other agencies, and we hope that we'll be also playing one major role in creating this drug-free nation. We want to put all our efforts, at least for one like coming year, we'll be doing all these things. Thank you.
There is one appeal which
Yes,
if I may
sure, sir.
get it done. Gujarat has done wonders regarding anti-drug activities, and there is one portal, mygov.in, where you can take anti-drug pledge, say no to drugs pledge. So it is available on mygov.in portal, and it is a very simple process. I would like that Gujarat or any other state which wants to excel on this front may go and visit that website and just take a 2-minute, not even 2 minutes it will take. You can take that pledge and just make your state happy and just show your resolve towards saying no to drugs and yes to life.
Definitely, sir. Thank you everyone. Jai Hind. Done, Shachal bhai? Thank you, sir. It was quite informative, sir.